Hello Fuzz fans, and welcome to my tutorial on Mrs. Nibbienew, the paper doll. And so today I'm going to be showing you how to cut out and put together a Mrs. Nibbienew paper doll. I will be using a craft knife or X-Acto knife. If you don't have one, you can use a pair of scissors instead. Just know the scissors probably aren't going to give you quite as a close cut as the X-Acto knife, unless you have some really nice pointed scissors. Then those would probably work pretty well. All right, so to start off with, I'm going to be cutting out the character herself. Here she is. Here's Mrs. Nibbienew. So first thing I'm going to do is cut along these outlines, the black outlines all the way around the character. Then, or before, I'm going to cut on these two scissor icons. This is where her base is going to go. And she actually has two base pieces, one right here and one right here. And so there are two slots that need to be cut so that her bases can fit together. So that is step number one. A couple tips when you're using an X-Acto knife, if you're using one. Keep your hands out of the way of the blade. Make sure that you have a sharp blade so you're not pushing down too hard to cut. You can have accidents that way. And make sure you're cutting as you cut, and I'll go ahead and start right now. You know, I have a mat underneath so that I'm not cutting into the table. And this is a self-healing mat, so every time I cut into it, it just kind of closes back up. And I can kind of use and reuse the mat over and over again. So when you are cutting, take your time, staying on that black line. And if you can, stay to the outer part of the black line, if possible. It takes a lot of control to do that. And also, you know, when you first start, check and make sure you're cutting through the paper. If you're not pushing hard enough, you will not cut through the paper. And if you're not cutting through the paper, then that can be annoying because later on down the road, you're going to have to come back and you're going to have to cut through it again. So keep that in mind as you're cutting your paper doll pieces out. Also, when you do cut them out, you might have a little hang up. Make sure you cut completely, because if you take it out and you try to pull it, it might rip. And if it rips, that could be very bad for your paper doll as well. So here on the two scissors icons, while I'm cutting out the bottom here, I might go ahead and take that and just cut right on there. That way I don't forget. It's always easier to cut something when it's attached to the paper than when it's not attached to the paper. Because when it's attached to the paper, you can just put your hand on there and then, you know, make sure the thing doesn't move. When it's really small, it gets tricky. So that's the beginning of it. I'm going to put this thing on fast forward. I'm going to cut out Mrs. Nibbienew, and I'm also going to cut out the bases. Like I said, don't forget to cut right on this black line with the scissors icon. I'll go ahead and do that now so I don't forget. That way the bases can fit together when you put them together. All right, so let me put it on fast forward and you can watch me cut away. All right, I've got my stuff cut out. I got my two base pieces and Mrs. Nibbienew cut out, and now we are ready to put it together. So these slots are going to fit together in those slots, and I cut, you can see on the back there how far I cut on each one. And so try to match them up best you can, and then with just a little bit of pressure, you're going to slide one into the other, and that the pressure should hold them together, and that's going to form your base. So there's one, get the other one here. Oops. And you don't want to push it too hard because you can end up bending the paper, and that would be problematic. All right, so if you do everything right, it should be able to stand on its own. Whoops. Like this. There we go. And you know what? I did not cut this straight. And that's actually the problem I'm having right now, if you notice. So I'm gonna fix that. And while I'm fixing that, I have something else I gotta fix too. So let me just fix that real quick. And also, before I forget, on the front, I like to do a little cut right here on this arm because the apron will fit right underneath there. So the outline for this arm coming in, if you just make a little cut right here and free that arm a little bit, when we get the apron ready to attach, that should work. All right, let's try this again. Hopefully this is a little bit more successful. So let's match that up. Get that in there. Press that together. And there we go, that's better. Match that up, press that in, and so that should fit a lot better. Try to make sure it's flush so it sits flat. There we go. So that's what's supposed to happen. You know, you just want to be careful as you're cutting. Try to do your best to cut straight, especially on that bottom there. And the straighter it is, the more it'll sit flat on the surface. All right, so now that we've got that done, now we are ready for other pieces. So I'm gonna move this to the side, and I'm gonna bring out this one. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is cut out the outfit that we are most familiar with, the one seen in the comic: apron, witch hat, and of course her remote wand. Now, a couple things. Before I put this thing on fast forward, when you cut out the apron, you'll notice that this line for the tab goes all the way in here. You want to cut all the way there to the base of the apron. And while I'm on the topic of tabs, do not cut off the tabs. All of these tabs need to stay on because those tabs are the things that are going to fold over and onto the paper doll so that it stays. If you've never done a paper doll before, please watch first before you do that so you understand how this whole thing is going to work. That way you're not taping back on your tabs. So like I said, one of the things you want to do on this tab is cut past the blue fringe and all the way to here, you know, so you can complete the cut on the tab. And this one is pretty much free, so you don't have to worry about that one. You also have to, over here on the hat, this is kind of a special cut here, go around the black outline, but when you come in, you want to go all the way to this part of the hat. You want to cut, see if I can show you right here. You want to cut all the way from here, all the way to there. Don't stop here, or else it won't fold correctly. So, cut all the way there. And I think everything else should work pretty well. So I'm going to stick this on fast forward. I'm going to cut out this, and this, and then I'm going to show you how to fold some tabs and set up your first outfit. All right, I got my 3 pieces cut out, and now I'm ready to fold the tabs. So all of the white tabs, you're gonna need to fold over so that they will hold on to the paper doll. So when you fold the tabs, if you just push on them, they may not fold where you want them to. So what you wanna do is hold them close to the line that they're supposed to fold on, and then just give them a push, and that should kind of guide that fold onto that line. And then do the same thing over here. Just kind of holding as close as you can to that line. And you can, I have tried to take the blade and just lightly score, you know, just lightly cut and then fold it, but I have not had good success. It ends up ripping the paper and then the paper sticks out. So I don't like doing that. I always fold things to 90 degrees like this so that I can hook it on there before I give it a hard fold. And again, I like to hold it close to where it's going to fold and then give it a push. Otherwise, it may not fold the way you want it to. All right, so there we go. I've got everything folded. Now I'm going to try everything on. I'll start with the apron. Apron goes here. And like I said, I made a little cut on the arm so that the apron could kind of slip underneath that arm to fit right into place. Otherwise, it's covering the arm just a little bit. So if you just give that little cut, then it gives you a little bit more of a 3D effect as well. And then let's see, the hat goes here. It uses the ear as a kind of a way to hook that on. There you go, like that. You kind of have to play with it too to see, you know, to find just the right placement and balancing. So there's the hat, and then the hand with the remote will go here. And I'm going to show you all of these put together standing up at the very end of the video. So there will be more pictures of them in their full of Mrs. Nibbienew in her full outfit. All right, so there is one outfit for you. The rest of the pieces I've already cut out from another sheet, so I was going to show you just a few little things about those. Let's see, and a few little things about cutting them out. So most of these are pretty straightforward, just cutting right on the line around the tabs. You've got an issue right here on the hat. Just make sure you cut all the way in on this tab. Same thing on this tab. Same thing here by this hand, and same thing here on the teapot. You know, just always cut all the way in on the tab so that the tab can fold freely. And same thing here on the witch's hat. Make sure you cut all the way in to the hat so that the tab can fold. That's pretty much it. Nothing too difficult on this one. She's one of the easier paper dolls. So that's good news. All right, so let's just see. Let's see. On this outfit, her tea set hooks over both her hands so that it works like that. That's pretty easy. For other hats and accessories, there's not much that I think needs to be explained for those. And I think that's pretty much it. Again, I'm going to show you all of these outfits on Mrs. Nibbienew at the end, but all of her outfits basically fit over her body. Should give you pretty easy, only like 3 or 4 tab positions that need to hook on there. Let's give her a hat. Maybe a little reminiscent of the Golden Girls here. There you go. You want to make sure that the hair is in front of the outfit. There you go. She's ready in her sportswear. Mrs. New. Oh, don't forget her crossword puzzle book. There we go. There's Mrs. Nibbienew. All right, well, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna set these up, take some pictures, and if you set up your paper dolls, you take a picture, please send it to me. I would love to see it or love to hear what you think of the paper dolls, what you think of the comic. My email is fuzzyfieldscheese@gmail.com. You can send me a pic of your paper dolls or a diorama that you set it up with, or just a few words letting me know what you think. All right, folks. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you have a great day and stay fuzzy. See you later. Bye-bye.